I believe everything happens for a reason. Even the bad things in life happen for a reason. And I believe they all have to do with choices. The choices we make in life really do affect our faith. We might make one bad choice and it will affect the rest of our lives. For example, we might not do our homework, and that's a choice, which means it results in a lower grade. We don't close the gate behind us, our dog runs out. These choices in life really do affect us. Nowadays, we're all almost 16, or we are 16, and we start driving. Driving's fun. We have more responsibility, but yet we're free. We don't have to rely on our parents anymore, and it's better. It's just more fun. We get to go wherever we want. We feel this freedom. And this is my story, and this is how it starts. When I was 4 years old, my cousin was 21. She was at college, and this is what the report said. She was at a party with her friends, and it was late on a Friday night. It happened to be raining that night, and they were drinking, they were having fun, and then she had to go back because she had to wake up early the next day. And her choice was to get in the car and start driving with her friends. When they got in the car, and because they were buzzed and they were drinking, they were driving recklessly. The rain didn't help, and she crashed right into another car. It was instantly she was killed. And I was 4 years old. I didn't really know her, but my dad was really close to her. My dad was almost only 5 years apart from her, and I remember going to my grandparents' house and looking around and seeing everyone just crying. And just, when you're 4 years old, you don't really get what's happening. So you kind of just sit there and you're just like, okay, well, when my dad's crying, what do? You just start crying too. It was the first time I ever went to a funeral. And it didn't really get to me then that what happened was her choice. It was bad what happened, but she affected her 3 other friends, and the other driver, who happened to have her kids in the car too. And that leads me, I kind of was like, I was 4. My sister wasn't even born yet, so it was a long time ago. And I was like, I talked to my mom, told me, she's like, this is why people don't drink and drive. And I said, oh, okay. Like, I was 4, I don't get it. I didn't know what drinking really was then. Well, then that leads me to December 26, 2005. If you guys know me, you know that's my birthday. I was turning 9 years old that day, and we were having people over at my house. And I remember my best friend, basically, at that time was my Uncle Marlon. And it was already like 8:30. Everyone was there, my cousins, my grandparents, all my aunts and my uncles, except my Uncle Marlon. And that's like if you go to your best friend's party and your best friend's out there. Like, you just feel like something's missing. You couldn't really celebrate it. So I remember I was asking my mom, I was like, Mom, where's Uncle Marlon? Where's Uncle Marlon? And she's like, he'll be here. It wasn't until finally, right when we were blowing out the cake, someone knocks on my grandma's door, and it's a cop saying that my uncle was in a car crash. I know that sounds like a movie, but I swear it was when I was we were cutting the cake. I remember my grandma and my mom left all in a hurry to the hospital, and I just was left with my dad, and I was like, is my Uncle Marlon gonna be okay? Is he gonna be okay? And I just remember my dad getting all angry, and he was like, who drinks the day after Christmas? How do people not control themselves? And I remember I couldn't sleep that night thinking, what if my Uncle Marlon passes away? What if he happens just like my other cousin? What if this is a chain reaction in my family? I couldn't think about that thought. And I remember I was just scared until finally the next morning my mom came. She told me that he was fine, that he just broke a lot of bones. And I remember going to the hospital 3 days later, and he was still there. And I remember he told me, he was like, I really tried to get there to your party. It was just really late, and I was driving fast, but a drunk driver wasn't paying attention, and he crashed into me. And I remember right then and there, I was 9 years old, and I was like, all right, this can't happen anymore. And then that leads me to where now I'm 16 years old. I could have had my permit 9 months ago, but the truth is, I'm honestly scared to drive because of everything that's happened. And I've talked to my uncle a lot of times about it, and he always tells me, it's not your fault, you just drink and drive, but other people do. And that leads me, a lot of people know me, you know that I love Lana Del Rey. And I love this quote that she says. She was like, drinking and driving, exit buying, overdose and dying. It's a song lyric from her song, but it spoke to me because that's what people do. When you start drinking, it's an addiction. An addiction, which is the exit buying, and then you overdose on it and people start dying. And that's what's happened before. And that's what needs to be stopped. And these are the facts. On average, 25 people are killed a day from drunk driving accidents. And 1 in 3 people will experience a drunk driving accident in their life. And there's consequences. This is what I don't people understand when they make that choice to drink and drive, that there's consequences. That you're not affecting your life, you're affecting other people's life, and they will die. And this is another thing too, that I love the picture with the pimp, is that you take a few glass and you just lose your license for that. You get DUIs. I mean, the cops are hard on it. That's another thing too, is that a person who drinks and drives could drive 80 times before they get arrested. And then I feel like they need to know these consequences. Like, when you get a DUI, you lose your license. And this is an accident that I saw before, of a drink and driving accident. And that's just because the driver was so drunk that he couldn't pay attention, that he was swerving, and he hits another car. It happened to kill everyone instantly. And those are lives that could have helped, that could have saved someone else's life. But they were instantly killed because of someone's one choice. I feel like, drinking and driving is kind of common sense. It's something that you shouldn't do. And I feel like, it's hard. Yeah, you just want to go back home. But there's other ways. That's why there's 24 hours taxis. That's why, you could call your friend. Your mom will never deny you a ride. Okay. You don't want to call your mom at 3 o'clock in the morning, or your dad or anything. But call someone, because you could ruin someone else's life. That's how we felt when my cousin died. Her life is just taken away. It was her choice, and she just took other people's life away too. And I feel like it all could be stopped if people knew the real facts and knew the real stories behind it.